They trusted me. Every one of them, wives, fathers, grandparents. I was Dr. Harold Shipman, the man they called for reassurance, healing, and safety. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was that I had no intention of saving them. I was there to end their lives. It began innocently enough, or so I told myself. A single, frail patient in pain, her body failing her. I administered a dose of morphine, just enough to ease her passing, I thought. But as she exhaled her last breath, something stirred within me. A dark satisfaction, a sense of control I had never known before. I wasn't just a doctor, I was the arbiter of life and death. After that, it wasn't about mercy. It was about power. They would come to me in their most vulnerable moments, and I would decide their fate. My method was elegant, undetectable. Morphine, a drug so potent it could stop a heart with the precision of a scalpel. I would alter their medical records, meticulously crafting a narrative of decline, heart disease, strokes, complications from old age. By the time the coroner saw them, they were just another natural death. And the funerals, I made sure to attend them. I would stand in the back, a somber figure in a dark coat, nodding with practiced sympathy as their families wept. They would thank me for my care, tell me how much my presence meant to their loved ones in their final moments. I smiled and assured them I had done all I could. If only they knew. The thrill wasn't just in the act itself, but in the ease of it all. The trust my profession afforded me was absolute. Nobody questioned my intentions. I was a doctor, after all. Why would I harm the very people I had sworn to protect? But the power I held began to consume me. My appetite grew. I stopped caring whether my victims were truly suffering or not. An elderly woman who had been a patient of mine for years. She wouldn't be missed, I reasoned. A middle-aged man with a devoted wife. I convinced myself it was his time. The lies I told them mirrored the lies I told myself. As the years passed, I became untouchable, or so I thought. My colleagues whispered about the high mortality rate among my patients, but their suspicions never reached me. My notes were flawless, my records impeccable. I thought I had covered my tracks. I underestimated them. In 1998, everything began to unravel. It started with one exhumation, then another. My meticulous plans weren't enough to erase the undeniable presence of morphine in their systems. The walls of my carefully constructed world began to close in. When the police arrived, the truth spilled out in waves. My home was a gallery of evidence, medical records, syringes, vials. Each artifact was a silent confession to decades of deceit. The trial was a spectacle. 15 counts of murder, they said. A fraction of the lives I had taken, but enough to secure my fate. The families sat in the gallery, their faces pale with horror as the details of my crimes unfolded. They weren't just grieving anymore, they were haunted by the betrayal of a man they had trusted with their most fragile moments. Now, I sit here, a prisoner of my own making. The angel of death, they call me. The name amuses me. Angels are beings of light, after all. I am nothing but darkness, a man who wielded trust as a weapon, who turned healing into harm. I wonder sometimes if they think about me as much as I think about them, the lives I stole, the power I relished, and the legacy of death I left behind.